is just a mute. It just blinks it.
The sides forward.
Yep. All right, so we're ready.
Hey folks, we're going to start, and I'm going to, few folks coming in, so let's sing 616. 616. And good morning to you. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but you don't see anything about Lawrence, Kansas until you're 55 miles from here. It doesn't show up on any road signs. I'm not sure why why that's so. I just hoped my GPS knew where I was going. That was coming from Wichita. Of mine. Might have something to do with the Jayhawker territory or something. Who knows? Good to be with you this morning. We brought Charla along this year. She didn't get to come last year, and so we're glad that she's with us. Thank you for having us come in. It's always a blessing to be here with you. Number 616. I must needs go home by the way of the cross. There's no other way but this. I shall ne'er get sight of the gates of light if the way of the cross I miss. The way of the cross leads home. The way of the cross leads home. It is sweet to know as I onward go. The way of the cross leads home. Then I bid farewell to the way of the world, to walk in it nevermore. For my Lord says, come, and I seek my home, where he waits at the open door. The way of the cross leads home. The way of the cross leads home. It is sweet to, as I onward go. Way of the cross leads home. We're going home, folks. It's going to be soon. This year of 2020 has been 2021 was quite a runner-up to 20, and you've roller coastered it here, and I think we're now accustomed to COVID more than. And learn that we need to be flexible as North Americans. If you want to know what restraints are, just go to the third world, to Latin American countries, and you'll find out that you get arrested if you're walking down the street without a mask on in the cities. Churches have been very, very limited in what they could do in terms of meeting. So we experience quite a lot more flexibility here. That kind of fits our culture, I guess. But whatever the case, I'm glad that we seem to be on the downside of that. And we are getting ready to do a medical mission in Ecuador, the first since February of 20. And I'm excited about that. There's a group of 50 that's already signed up and ready to go on June 3rd. And so I'm looking forward to having them in the jungle of Ecuador on the Cayapas River. I'm getting James to pass out these newsletters. Not going to do anybody any good on the back table back there, so take them home with you and read them when you can. It'll let you know more about what we're doing in Ecuador in addition to what I say today. Today, at this very hour on the Cayapas River, where I was 2 Sundays ago, they're having a big campaign. All the students of the School of Bible from Quito went down, and this is their 5th day there. They've been knocking doors and talking with folks about the Lord. trying to reach some folks that were baptized into Christ during the last 11 years and perhaps haven't been as faithful as they should be. So they're doing a lot of good. They'll meet in 5 places on the river today, from morning till evening, and that's a neat experience. If you don't have a poncho, you're going to get really wet. Usually, as you go up and down the river and get to those villages. So that's where I was 2 weeks ago, and this is quite the calm setting in comparison. But be praying for those guys today and their wives. Some of the wives are with them, and they are reaching out to the Chachi Indians and the Afro-Ecuadorians that live on the river. I think there's a pointer, he told me, yeah. So they are just about right there up a river system. You'll see a little bit more of that as we go on. Quito finds itself where the School of Bible is, somewhere about right, probably there in the mountains. So you have the 3 regions of Ecuador, and the coastal jungle in this area is very distinct to the Amazon jungle that you usually see like on TV and stuff. But we are beginning some church plants up around a place called Lago Agrio, sour water, and then also down around Coca. And then there's a place called Xuxifindi, and I've never been there, but it sits about right here. But all through the mountains is the main population of churches of Christ, and now you'll find in the major cities, due to the church planting that's happened in the last 20 years, some churches growing in the coastal region. Ecuador is a very receptive country. We were told that. We find that God has blessed us with, in spite of ourselves a lot of times, to have a fruitful ministry. If you were to look at Operation Ecuador, you're going to be talking about, I skipped over it too fast, but mostly we're going to be talking about 3 entities. I would say 4. The School of Bible is the hub, and that's why it's in the middle, because it supplies a workforce for Camp Bellevue. They have some, 2 or 3 of our graduates that work there. Kumani is the work out in the jungle that I just referred to. And then there's various aspects of the School of Bible, which is Escuela Quiteña de Estudios Bíblicos, or Quito School of Biblical Studies. And it's second to none in South America and in Latin America, really. The second largest training facility in all of Hispanic America. We're really thankful that God's blessed it in so many ways through the years. It wouldn't be possible for me to tell you in the next 30 minutes all of what is taking place. I mentioned a medical mission. We don't really spend lots of time with medical missions, usually 2 to 3 per year. Basically, those are not, designed as a cure-all for the health problems that exist. It's a foot in the door to help for a little bit in an area, and for people to get to know that we do care about them, and for the gospel to be able to be preached in those areas. So these are some things that the School of Bible is doing, and I'll mention some of them more than others. There is a master's program that is going on, the first in Churches of Christ. Get a master's degree in Bible, and that's pretty exciting. All that's online, of course. So the online program is quite extensive. It's from everything from just correspondence type courses, basic studies, to being able to study with us as a school and get a certification of those courses that you take, but also the master's program. The university ministry is called the Door, or the Bridge, excuse me, and we'll look at that. The PLM program is the fact that we're really, it's kind of new. Let's just say 5 years old, but it's beginning to become, I think, maybe even more of the direction we want to go in taking what we do in Quito and at the School of Bible in a very intensive way, and taking it to the congregational level, and placing ourselves in strategic places like Riobamba or Esmeraldas or Cali, Colombia, and then churches from that area come for weekends of study, and they get real excited about that. So you might have a course on a weekend, Romans, the book of Acts, whatever, basic, more the basic courses, and they do that in 20 to 24 hours in one weekend. So I don't know when the last time you spent 22 or 24 hours here at this building from Friday to Sunday night, but that's the picture of what they do when they do this PLM program. But it is gaining popularity, and they want us to come. So a teacher from the school will go and teach a course that he's very prepared in, try to kind of boil it down to more of a congregational level, maybe not all of the details that he would share in the school in Quito, but it's exciting. Whoops, there we are. James had his mask. That's how he wears his mask usually. Down underneath the chin, doesn't do any good, but that seems to be the style. Oh, I didn't do this. Somebody else put that on there. Okay, and this is Josh. He took the reins of the School of Bible 8 years ago, and that allowed me to do more traveling here in the States and actually make our abode here on the ranch where I was raised. And so we've started raising some cattle, and he's raising a lot of children. 4 of them, to be fact, right there on the little acreage that we have in Quito. Julie, he found her in Kenya, Africa, actually in York, but she came from Kenya. And so they were both raised on the equator line, but just different continents. And they met in York, Nebraska. So they've made a good fit. And so we've got one that'll go to college not next year, year after next, Mom? Yeah, she'll be a senior next year, Michaela. And then the other girls are going to follow her closely, and they'll have an empty nest before you know it. So Joshua served as director of the School of Bible for 7 years. I did it for 20 plus, and he decided that it was time, as we had talked earlier, to turn that over to a national person. And now he's dedicating more of his time both to teaching in the school, helping with U.S. correspondence on the ground there, but also doing a lot of traveling and church planting that's going on. This is a picture, and this will be happening. It may be happening right now. Probably they're through. They started at 8, and they're the same time as us right now. This is out in the jungle area. This is at our compound called Kumani. If you look through the crowd, you're going to see some Chachi Indians. And then over here, I can see some Afro-Ecuadorians. They don't show up as well. But the church is made up of both of those cultural groups. We have really a nice layout, and I'm telling you this because at some point we'd like to get you down there. We'd like to have you come join on some kind of trip, and that can be something that we tailor to your desires of what you would like to do. Or you can just jump in and join one of the things that we've got going, be it a construction crew or a medical crew. But we can take care of North Americans pretty comfortably, and we even have warm water now. I'm telling you, it's terrible. We've improved this medical clinic now. That building is finished. This was it, a church building. It's where they would have met this morning there at 8 o'clock. We have 6 guys that come in and out like oil field work, 2 weeks there and then 1 week back with their family. So they're in and out. There'll be 2 to 4 of them there at all times, reaching out to the villages on the Cayapas River. The river is the highway, and there's no way to get to any place unless you get in a motor canoe and go. And so it takes a little bit of time. Every afternoon they're evangelizing somewhere on the river from 2 till after dark when they get back to the compound. And then in the mornings they're doing physical work and helping maintain our compound, etc. This would be 2 different settings. more of a open air building. This is in somebody's house. I was there 2 weeks ago, that very same house. It's at a place called Corriente Grande, Great Current, Grand Current, and you would just love to sit on these little benches for an hour and listen to Chris preach. That would encourage you to want him to get to the part that says, and in conclusion, because the North American knees sticking up in the air in that position after a while, or you're ready to stand up. And don't stand up if you're too tall because the roof's low. But those are thatch roofs, and that's a typical chachi dwelling. And you could build something like that here. See the air ventilation you have in the sides, and anyway, you can think about it. We've done a lot of medical missions through the years, and somebody put together, some of you are seamstress probably, the sewers, and you know that sewing t-shirts is kind of a hard thing to do if you've done that. So I've been told that I don't do it. But these were not all of our t-shirts through the years since 1998, but I have this for when I do a presentation at a workshop or something. It's kind of a backdrop. Kind of neat to think about all the years God's blessed us to take so many groups to Ecuador. And this would be a typical group size from all over. Got to put the grandkids in there. We don't know where she got this red curly hair, but she's bound to star someday in the in a live theater presentation of Annie. That's my goal anyway, to go see her do that. We usually do medical missions in February and June. Like I say, COVID, shot a hole in all of that planning, and so we're getting back this June with the first time since 2020. We actually were there in February and barely got our group out before they shut down international travel to and from. But these are the cream of the crop people that you'd meet, docs, nurses, dentists, optometrists, et cetera, translators that come, and they come from everywhere, all over the states, and even, this gal, she comes from England, and she's translated for her. She speaks a little funny English, but it's okay, and she loves to come. Annie is her name. I don't have time to talk about this. This was a medical mission at the base of Chimborazo. We did it among the Quechua Indians up at that altitude. Where we stayed right here was 11,000 feet, maybe 10,500. And some of the villages we would go to during that was about 12,000 feet. So bring your oxygen bottle along if you want to go with us on a medical mission like that. We don't go there as often as we used to. Camp Bellevue is a camp that does camp things like you think of camp, but also reaches out to impoverished children. The Campbell family runs that, and they have been pretty much shut down for 2 years, but they're beginning to work on their after-school program again and get back into some projects, and so we're excited that COVID is passing. Let me talk about the School of Bible, because that and the work out in the jungle is what you guys have supported through the years and your special missions contributions. Sometimes we've divided it between the School of the Bible and the evangelistic outreach going on in the jungle. And we appreciate you doing that. It's been such a great help. We graduated another group last May. I went down to speak. And so that makes about 260-something graduates throughout the years we've worked as an international school. That's both men and women. Some of the wives will take all the courses. Others just get a certificate as from the women's program. But it's a great school, and it began back in '92, I guess. By then, we were convinced we needed to multiply ourselves because the task was too great. And so we began formulating this idea of training men and women in ministry It went everything from a weekend to a night school kind of idea to something that has been full-blown into an international level and very intensive. This is looking at some colored places where people have served or are serving that are graduates in the School of Bible. Just want to draw your attention to that area, what's going on there right now. One of our students, I'm not sure how, but he was a single guy, and he got an opening to go to Ukraine and teach Spanish and also study there. I'm not sure what he was studying, but anyway, he got out and flew back to Ecuador with one of the relief efforts that took place, and some very impressive video footage. I don't know how these kids do it. You know, they hold their phone out and actually film themselves. I haven't figured out how to do that. But you know, there was gunfire, bombs going off, and he's trying to run through the street to get to where he needed to go to catch this flight. Another place, Indonesia, we've got a student there, or a graduate that went 20 plus years ago. He's married, has kids, lives in the backwoods of Papua, Indonesia. And then all over South America, throughout the Central American countries, and a few here in the States. That's exciting. Here's some numbers. You know, I don't know how much you want. Most in Ecuador, some in Venezuela. If you know the Venezuelan story right now, it's just so sad. Of course, they deny that there's anything even wrong going on there. You know, lots of food, plenty of work for everybody. Yeah, that's why 1.2 million of them have left, and many of those are in Ecuador, and that's just a sad, sad situation. So we are doing some relief work along this would be the Colombia border here. This would be Colombia if you put it in a map. And so we are getting some food to brethren and some relief packages at the borders, and Joshua and the staff have spearheaded that. I would just ask you to pray about something. There is a group of Venezuelans that are wanting to start a church plant, and I'm not sure exactly where it is along the border here, but there's a place here called Bucaramanga, Colombia, that was quite a cartel hold back in the day, and it's somewhere close to that. And we have a couple of Venezuelan families that want to start a church plant. They're willing to live in Venezuela and do that, even with the problems that are there. We still need to raise about $2,000 a month for that team to be able to get going. And so pray about that and think about that need. And that's just one of many ideas of where we want to do some church planting. Right about here is Cali, Colombia. That's where we did one of the PLM projects. And they have, Cali's 3 million people plus, beautiful city. I've never been there, just seen pictures. It was quite the cartel hold back in the day. A very dangerous place for North Americans to go. We've never had a successful North American effort there that lasted more than a year or so. And so we have now some graduates that are working there at a secular level and encouraging the church. And now with the PLM program that we're flying from Quito 1 hour over there, we can do some encouraging and some good teaching in Cali, Colombia. Just giving you some of the ideas, some of the many ideas of good things that are going on. There's some numbers in Peru. USA, I'm surprised there are 13 here, but there are. In fact, one couple graduated, and he was, I'm forgetting the term, the top student in the class at the graduation time, and his wife was right next to him. They both graduated, and they are in, they're Cuban. So they came from Cuba, went to Quito and studied 3 years. Her parents, or her dad, Artie was living in Reno, Nevada, and they were able to get visas to come to Reno, and they're there now, but they are trying to get their visa worked out where they can move to Dalhart, Texas, and start a Hispanic ministry in Dalhart. At least that's the plan. So you can have a Cuban trained in Quito, Ecuador, that's working in Cowtown, Dalhart, Texas. That's going to be exciting. We're hoping that they get that off the ground because there are more Hispanics now in Dalhart than there are Anglo folks. Some of the numbers, some of the lesser numbers. Got a guy been in Italy forever. Went over there to work. He was a graduate, works with the church. I've kept in touch with missionaries that know him, and he's done some good encouraging there. 20 countries, 4 or 5 continents. We didn't ever dream about that. How do you study during COVID? It immediately went to online studies, and that's how they survived the last 2 years. So that's kind of beyond, you know, I'm kind of a dinosaur. I usually sign my letters to Joshua, Dinosaur Dad, because I don't click with everything. He's quite the technological son. And this is the staff now. All of these except this guy and this one were staff for Charla and I when we were there. And Joshua's done a great job. And now this guy that I brought on in 2002 is now the director. He studied in Honduras. He's worked on his master's degree, or has that now. He and Lourdes are a very special couple and going to do a great job. One thing that he's pushing right now and wanting to do, as they were already in gear to do it, but we're beginning more and more audio-visual stuff that we could put out on YouTube, etc., and trying to have a professional look to what we do and compete with the good stuff, the good quality stuff that's out there, and yet bring the truth about Jesus Christ and the gospel to people who can connect with us. Some revamping of our physical places that we did, our physical structures during the COVID years. We were closed down, so we...
Here at the QSOBS, the pandemic has actually been good for us in that we've been able to do some projects that have been on standby because we always have students and people coming through the AKEB, the facilities here. We haven't been able to fix the floor, for instance. You can see in some of these pictures, the floor now is so beautiful, but we had to take it down to the dirt. A lot of that wood was termite infested, and the columns were terrible.
We bought that building in 2092.
We've been able to dedicate to some projects that the fire marshals have been wanting us
140 years
to
old,
get done,
something like that.
And so we've also been able to get our ladies a remodeled kitchen. The University Church of Christ in Amarillo has helped us with this, and it's so beautiful now. So thankful. The Bellevue camp even helped us with their carpenter, so we worked out a deal there to give the ladies and give this school a good kitchen that is used every day, feeding 50 or more people.
Here you go. Good job, Josh. You can't do what we're doing without a good staff behind you, and every one of these people are very important in what they do. They have Christian families. Their stories are very impressive about how they came to Christ and the years they've served. You know, you always need a mission statement. Even churches, you know, need to sit down and think, you know, who are we and why are we here? Well, that's pretty much what we've come up with in the last few years about what our goals are, to train men and women in ministry and both give them the academic, the knowledge, and the practice of what it takes to grow churches to maturity. The vocational program is something that came on after Josh got there. He really wanted to see us give our students something to fall back on. They're not going to get out and get a pulpit job that has a salary connected to it. At least very, very few of them will do that. And so they need to learn. So we partner with a Votech place, and 1 year of their out of their 3 years in Quito, one of those years at night they go to a Votech school and train in doing something. This was really interesting, I thought. Somebody put together a little business where they make sausages, actually pretty tasty, and package those and sell those. Repairing cell phones. You know, we just throw ours in a drawer and get another one. Believe me, they repair theirs and keep them going. So there's some things that they've been trained in through the years. I thought those were just real practical things that are always going to get you a job. The ladies can come out with a certificate because they're at home taking care of children, usually the master's program. The main program is the 3-year program. The RIB program is the master's program. And we partner with Sunset School in Lubbock and their branch in Houston to get this done. And then we shoulder tap guys that have a master's or a doctorate in Bible and that speak Spanish fluently, and they teach online. And so this is really, really growing. And we already have some graduates who have a master's degree in Bible now. That's pretty exciting. I'm going to blow through this because I've got to get somewhere else. What time do I need to be through here? We started at 15 after? Top of the hour, okay. All right. Just some figures. Active users of our online studies, close to 900, 3,600 certificates given out in the past. The PLM program is this congregational level program that I was mentioning. This was in Cali, Colombia, and they actually took up some of our graduation robes and had a graduation there. The people were very, very excited to have that happen. This one took place in Riobamba. It's kind of the center of the Quechua Indian groups that are in the mountain regions, and so bring folks together from around Esmeraldas. The jungle area right there is where they are this morning, but the town of Esmeraldas also hosted a PLM program. Then there's a university track. This is called the Bridge. That's not in Ecuador. It's the idea of what we're doing. We're connecting young people to the Lord. And so there are about 100,000 students in 1, 2, 3, and then 2 smaller ones, universities. We've purchased a place that is about, oh, here it is. I was looking for it, sorry. Almost off the map. We've purchased an old colonial building and restored it. And there's where the School of Bible is, where we have our ministry training. And so you can get across there in 10 minutes or so. It's not as big as it looks. But all these students can do what you and I enjoyed. If you went to a state school, as I did for a couple of years, you enjoyed a Bible chair or a student center. And that's what this is all about, trying to have a place for our Christian young people to come and hang out, as we say today, hang out with their friends and bring them, and they'll come to Jesus. And so there's going to be Bible studies that go on there, devotionals. It's really a new program, but I'm going to say it started 2 years ago, but what else happened 2 years ago? As soon as we were ready to open it, COVID hit. So really this year is its first year to be active, except that this is the place we're housing our single male students. And they have a 3rd floor that they can have their their bedrooms and their places of study. So it's been used in the last 2 years, but now it's going to be much more used and actually be able to function as COVID is let up. We do want this to be used for housing during the summer when we have our students farmed out to churches doing their practical ministry. We'll be able to host U.S. groups that come and work in Quito for, let's say, Let's Start Talking or whatever. He's not a university student, but he was baptized there. He was an Indian guy that came in. And let me show you a video. Could we switch to that right now? Let's jump from Quito and the School of Bible to the last medical mission that we did. To give you an idea of the river ministry. These canoes are about 45 to 50 feet long, and we put in the water at a village called Borbon City, and go upriver 2.5 to 3.5 hours, depending on how loaded you are. The river gets smaller in terms of width, but it becomes more of a fast current river upstream. So this is our compound. Great sisters in Christ that work our kitchen. There's some woman back there. So we'll go in on Saturday, usually with a group, have a Sunday morning together worshiping, and then by Sunday afternoon we're beginning to see people and begin our week of medical attention. Any blonde or redheads? We have our own built-in translators now. So these people will come, we'll either bring them in our canoes or they'll come in their own canoes. And we have medical clinic there usually 3 days, and then go out a couple of days to the villages that are too far away. This doesn't look like it's planned for COVID. So this year we're going to spread out more of an American style attention for the people. Great brethren in Christ that come and just serve. I mean, they work hard through the week. The pharmacists, docs. The temperature isn't always all that accommodating. This high she Germany to be at this. She's her husband's in the military. One of our guys on the river, and they do Bible talks to the people while they wait on their medicines. We give away several $1,000s of meds during the week. Of course, we don't charge anything, and we try to be as efficient as we can. This year is going to be stiff because all of our meds have expired. We're starting over, and it's going to be quite see medical mission. Any family, any young woman 26 years old is probably going to have 4 or 5 children by her side when they come. That is not OSHA approved, whatever. Security, no. They don't know what a life vest is there. Oh, we'll take out a couple afternoons if we get through and let the young people do crazy things and jump in the water. So here we are starting down on it'll be the 4th day. We went a long way upriver, an hour and a half. The water was up. We took advantage to go to that, excuse me, a village we'd never been to before called Sabalito. Oh my, did we ever get wet coming back. There was not a dry thread on any of it. You can see how they build their houses around usually a volleyball court. We take over whatever community building or school building they have to spread out as much as we can to allow us to function, circulate people through the system of registration, triage, going to a doctor or dentist. And they pretty much get to see dentist, doc, or optometrist. They don't have to be one or the other. We tend to most every need they have. I loved to play tetherball when I was growing up. So we took in, put up 10 tetherball poles and balls, and it made a big hit because they don't really do anything except kick soccer balls in the mud, you know. That's about all they know. We've built swing sets through the years because they didn't know how to swing. But the tetherball is a pretty easy thing to do. You just got to get the pole set up a few days before in cement, and then bring in the ball and then play with them. And this is another village called Telimbi. It was our last day. It's an Afro village downstream from us, where our compound's located, an hour. And it's very much more organized. They're a healthier group. In comparison, the two cultures, the Afro folks take better care of themselves, have better hygiene practices, etc. Do a lot of ear cleaning. Foot washing is second to ear cleaning. You would be surprised what all we get out of people's ears there. I don't go close to the ear cleaning station. I might think they pull all kinds of bugs. Oh, terrible. And we got one vet that comes every once a year. He's a real go-getter, man. He's a jungle kin is what I call him. He'll take 2 or 3 of our people and head out. They go from house to house, village to village. You talk about a great need. These animals need help. Mostly they need food. Look at all the children. You have no shortage of children. This last trip, I carried in backpacks, all kinds of stuff, trying to, you know, anything you can, little dresses. There's an elderly woman who died just a few months ago, from Andrews, Texas. She was quite the seamstress in her day. And she, after she got up in age, she finally could only pretty much make little sun-type dresses that work in this climate. Yeah, we can shut that off. And so she concentrated on, it says size 2, 3, and 4, and those were the sizes she made. But they kept her busy all the time. She wanted, and she, you know how a lot of elderly women are just, they've worked so hard all their life. That's all they know how to do, all they want to do. And so her family would keep buying any material on sale they could, bring it and give it to Grandma. And she stayed busy until her death. And so we've given away lots and lots of her dresses, little bitty cute, incredibly nice dresses on the river to these people. And anyway, she passed on to be with the Lord just a couple of months ago. Trying to remember her name, Charla. Wanda. Wow, saved by the bell. I'm talking about you, not me. I could go on and on. Any questions real quick?
The YouTube audio-visual memory or ministry that you're talking about, is that available worldwide to anyone that has
Sure.
internet?
Yeah. Yes. You can get on our webpage and I haven't done it in a while, but on our webpage, which is www.eqeb.org, and you can punch on something and translate that entire page to English if you want to, surf around. And yes, those courses are available to anybody. We have people studying in Australia. We had folks studying in Russia that were studying in Spanish. I'm not sure why, but they're there. We had a student in Jerusalem. All over, folks are tagging on.
We have Shepherd and Ruth Mamwai, she's from Peru. And so I can see how they might be able to connect their family members.
Very good. Yeah. We would love to. Yeah. Let me know, and I can put them in touch with Josh or the staff there. Another thing to keep in mind is they're trying to get going everybody wants to learn English. And so you have this big full-blown program of Let's Start Talking where usually college students, sometimes not, go to places and teach English for 2, 3, 4 weeks. Well, why can't we do that online? So they are matching people up with folks here in the States that want to take on a student and do conversational, struggle through, do conversational English, make a friend and just start talking with them and sharing with them and studying with them and reading with them through Scripture. And that seems like it's got a lot of promise. There's a lot of folks that would like to do that, and certainly there. And Zoom and other. What do you use a lot? What do we use a lot? The phone service. WhatsApp. I mean, it's gotten. When I first went to Ecuador, it cost $4 a minute to talk to my parents here, or our parents here in the States. Think of that day; it's gone. I mean, get on WhatsApp, and Charlotte has Bible studies that go on hours with the ladies in Ecuador and other places. So, let's use it. So if there is somebody that's interested in that, I can do the matching up and get you in contact with whoever. But it can be a great way to make a friend and encourage someone in Christ or help them come to know.
You talk about the various groups that are served by this ministry, and many of them are indigenous. I mean,
yes.
Whatever, Indian people. But is Spanish universal? So
yes.
There's no language problem with native languages or anything?
Well, Spanish is the official language. Okay. On the river, like where I preached 2 weeks ago, I preached in Spanish, but because that one place was so upriver, some of the older folks only speak Chapala. Yeah. And so I had this translator, which is cumbersome, and I'm really not sure what all he said, but prayerfully he translated my message. So yeah, in some cases you do have to do some translation. God bless y'all. Thank you for letting us be here. Charlotte can answer any questions you have.